Time to find out what the second fusion card is going to be. The first one was Bobby Roode. But I'm actually hoping that I don't get a pro here, or that I don't get anything but a female card. I need 2 more 33 female pros. So let's hope for Carmella or Nia Jax claim rewards, and number 2 is going to be Carmella. Great. Happy about this one. Now I just hope that the third, or maybe the fourth one, hopefully the third one, is Carmella as well. Now that's a pro I want to have. Matched it up perfectly. Once again, let's start this, and let's hope that number 3 is Carmella. What's up, my peeps? It is now time for a brand new episode of Supercard, and this is a Season 4 wishlist video, talking about something that I'd like to see added once Season 4 of Supercard comes out. Now, some of you might think this is too early, because it's only July. Last season, Season 3, came out in November. But the thing is, like I discussed in my What's Next video for Supercard, I, along with a lot of other people, are waiting for something new, whether that's a new tier, a new season, or both. We want a new challenge. And so, with me wanting something new, I also want to talk about what I'd like to see added. So, this is the first, really, Season 4 wishlist video that I'm gonna make, and the ideas and concepts that I'm gonna show you within this video were actually ideas that I had back when I was making the wishlist videos for Season 3. This was actually one of my first ideas, but I never got the time to make the video, post it up before Season 3 came out. And so I never got to discuss it with you guys, and the ideas and concepts that I'm gonna show you guys here aren't anything outrageous. Like, this is something realistic, and this is something that would improve the game in all ways. There would be no negative to adding this in, and it would solve a bunch of problems that most of us have experienced when playing team events or adding brand new members to our team. So, with that said, let's get started with this wish list. So right off the bat, as you can tell by the title, this is going to be all about improving the team portion of the game, because there's a bunch of things that could be improved on to prevent a bunch of issues. So first off, one of the things that I've been wanting for a long time is a way to find out a player's history in team events before you add them. Because at the moment, especially if you resort to adding people within the game, even though I don't do that, a lot of people do bring people in from the global chat or the looking for team chat. But even when you go and find somebody on social media, whether that's YouTube, Twitter, or whatever, you know, you don't know that person's history unless you ask for a screenshot. That's why Twitter and Facebook are preferred, in my opinion, compared to bringing somebody in from the game. But even then, sometimes people don't have screenshots, which is weird in this day and age. But at the same time, maybe not everybody is expecting somebody to ask them for a screenshot of Team Ring Domination points or Road to Glory points, or, you know, their cards in TBG maxed out. So there's a lot of situations where people just don't have a screenshot to give you, so you can't see what they've done in the past in team events. So why not make it so the game actually lets you know what this person got in their last team event, actually in all the last team events that they participated in. It would make things so much easier. I wouldn't have to ask for screenshots anymore. I can just check the player's profile or team profile, and I can see how many shards he got in the last Team Ring Domination, how many points he got in the last Team Road to Glory, and how many charges he got in the last Team Battleground. These are important things, especially when it comes to Team Battleground. If somebody doesn't charge at all, that could cost you that Battleground. So it can be a big risk of bringing somebody in that you don't know in your team, and this would reduce that risk for sure, because you at least know that in the past they've done something, or maybe they haven't, of course, depending on the stats that are shown. And when they first announced that they were bringing in this player profile, I thought that maybe this would show team stats, but the player profile is just visible to you and it doesn't show any team stats. And of course, the member profile that we've got right now, when you click on view members on a team and then you click on somebody, it just shows you their cards and their status in the team, whether they're an officer, general, or the owner of the team, and that's it. So basically, I'd like to see more detail, and here's a concept actually of that I asked Shandy to make this where this could be what it looks like. You see that player's top cards, his top 2 male cards, his top female cards, as you do right now, but also on top of that, you see his last team stats. The last points he got in Road to Glory, the last amount of shards he got in Ring Domination, and the amount of charges that he filled up in the last Team Battleground. And while I'm no expert on this, I don't think adding a feature like this would make it so Supercard then feels sluggish on older devices or isn't compatible anymore with some older, phones or tablets. I know in the past that Supercard has refrained from doing things because they want the game to run smooth on, as many devices as possible and to be compatible with as many devices as possible. I remember a while back, this was a long time ago, before Season 3, might have even been before Season 2. I believe there was a Supercard representative. Somebody asked the question, why haven't you guys increased the card limit? This was back when the card limit was lower than it is right now. Might have been 200 or 180, 150, I don't quite remember. And people were asking for an increase in card limit. The response that they got, or the response that I saw, was something along the lines of they wanted to keep Supercard running smoothly on as many devices as possible, including people with older devices. Makes sense, the more people, that can play, the more that they make money and all of that. But seeing as how they did increase the card limit, I think this is definitely possible, and I really hope that this happens. And if you guys like the design that Shandy made for me, go ahead and follow him on Twitter. He pretty much made all the custom Supercard designs that I've shown you guys, in the past in all the Supercard videos that I've made. And he just recently posted up also some new custom champion cards on his Twitter. So go ahead, check that out, follow him on there. And if you guys also want to see the AJ, Kevin Owens, and Alexa Bliss cards that he made for that design, I'm going to flash them on the screen right now individually so you can check them out close up. They're really cool looking cards, and like I said, he makes some really cool designs. Now, moving on, while you might know a person's previous stats, and while that helps, you don't know. They might all of a sudden get 0 points or something like that. They might all of a sudden decide that, hey, you know what, I just don't feel like playing and not get anything or barely anything at all. So, how do you go ahead and, I guess, counteract that? Well, you go ahead and put in a minimum requirement that can be set by the leader. And what this would be is the leader could go ahead and set a certain amount of required points or shards or charges. Well, I don't know if this would work too well in Team Battleground, but let's say it only works for Team Ring Domination and Team Road to Glory. You could set a minimum amount of shards or points that a person needs to get to be able to redeem the card, to be able to redeem the reward that the team got. So if a person ends up getting 0 points and you don't want them to freeload, well, you could set it so if a person gets 0 points, they don't get anything even though you guys completed the event. And of course, if you set it at 0, then some people might just get like 1 point or 5 shards or whatever it is, just so they can get the reward, but with very, very minimal work. Well, you could set the minimum to however much you want it to be. I think that would be perfect. So that way, if you don't want somebody to get on the team and get like, I don't know, let's say 10 points in Road to Glory and be able to get that card that the rest of the members got 300, 400, 500 points for, you could do that. But if they do add this, then they would also have to make it so that the point minimum has to be set a couple of days prior to the event. So whoever joins the team before the event, they know right away that if they don't get this certain amount, that they're not going to get the card. And this would also prevent leaders from, trolling or whatever, trying to switch the minimum amount the day of the event or during the event. So maybe the leader gets like 900 points and he decides all of a sudden that, hey, you know what, everybody that gets less than 900 points is not going to get the card. And of course, if he's got 900 points, it's impossible for the rest of the members to also get 900 points because that's over the amount of points that a Road to Glory is in total. So this would be another way to counteract people freeloading. And I think these two things together would be really strong in reducing the problem of people going into teams, doing nothing, expecting to get the card that everybody else worked hard for. Now, that problem aside, there's another issue that isn't as, big. It's not intentional, it's by accident, but let me know in the comment section if this has happened to you before in a Team Road to Glory. So, of course, Team Road to Glory, it's a great event to train your cards. So, most teams will go ahead and put in the cards that they're trying to train right at the beginning. And then sometimes, since this is an online game, oftentimes a team will have people in different time zones and people won't be going to sleep around the same time. So what happens is some people forget to switch the cards that they're training, the weaker cards, for the stronger cards before going to sleep. And then if, let's say you're playing, a Team Road to Glory for a brand new card in a brand new tier that just came out and there's a wall, then that becomes an issue because you can't really play as many +5 matches or +10 matches because you've got these weak cards in that this person forgot to switch out for their stronger cards before going to sleep, and you go ahead and message them, but they're not responding because they're sleeping. So to fix that, it's real simple. Make it so the leaders of the teams can switch members' cards. And that right there would be a really easy fix for that issue. Unless the leader also goes to sleep, then you're kind of messed up. So I guess make it so leaders and generals can also do that, in case the leader also sleeps himself and he also forgets. And here's the great thing about this, is it can also solve another issue that's kind of related to switching cards, and that's people joining your team not just to get no points and freeload, but also to mess you guys up. You see, I've heard of this happening. Now, thankfully this hasn't happened to us, but I've heard of people joining teams just to mess them up and switch their cards to commons. And then what happens is, if you're in the Team Road to Glory, well, the later matches get harder because you've got these common cards in there. If you're in a Team Ring Domination, let's say a new tier just dropped, and this is the first Team Ring Domination for that new tier, and you guys are barely in to that new tier. If a member drops all his cards to common cards, that drops the tier down, then you guys can't get that card anymore just because of that member. That's a big issue right there. And in the past, in the Team PCC, of course, doing that could cause to mess up the entire balance of your Team PCC deck. So I think allowing the leader and generals to be able to switch members' cards would be a really useful feature, especially also if you can add a lock-in feature. So when these people come in and try and troll, you can go ahead, switch their cards, and make it so it's locked and that member can no longer switch his cards back. And that's pretty much it. I think all of these 3 suggestions combined would greatly reduce the amount of people that come in to mess you guys up by switching their cards, or come in to freeload, don't, charge their cards or whatever. I really think that these would add a lot to the game and just make it so much easier to add people into your team. So that is pretty much it for my team wish list for Season 4 of Supercard. Let me know what you think of the ideas that I shared with you guys in this video, and in the comments section, let me know your wish list for all things team related in Supercard for Season 4. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, click that like button down below, subscribe for more videos, and with that said, I'm out guys, see ya!